Hello Tenno, it's Mako and we're going to discuss Excalibur Umbra. Before we start, check out the link in the description box to the Megathread. On Warframe's official site, it's there, it's got all the info, it's peer-reviewed, it's kept up to date. Many Tenno are involved in trying to keep it correct and as relevant as possible so that you, the users, can pick it up, this info, and get started. So let's get started. Excalibur Prime was a variation for the global build's founders. Think of it like a Kickstarter. They came into the ground floor, helped pay for it, fund it, to the point that it's a real product that we, the new users, can enjoy. After a year of this, it was sealed away, vaulted, and never to return. It's exclusive to the founders only on PC. Console Tenno do not get a founders package. Roughly 10-11 months ago, a variation was shown on Star Armor, which is a game derived from our game, but specifically for China. They got Spirit Prime and Nakana Prime, as well as a variant of Excalibur called Excalibur Umbra Prime, which is for all intents and purposes their variation of Excalibur Prime. Many console Tenno felt this was unfair, and there was a lot of assault and discussions on the forums on Warframe. What ended as a result is that D will be creating what's called Excalibur Umbra, a variation derived and is going to be virtually identical to the Excalibur Umbra Prime of China's founder package. Now, what is Excalibur Umbra going to feature? First off, it should feature the base, same powers as Excalibur and the same passive. But another concept that's been discussed is that it should have its own passive called an Umbra passive. Whereas the Prime passive is if you walk by a death orb in the void, you get energy. So Umbras will have something like that. The other thing is that Umbras hopefully will have their own polarity variants similar to Excalibur Prime. Now, Excalibur Umbra Prime had a little more power in terms of stats and armor and, in a lot of different ways than the base Excalibur Prime. Well, that ticked off a few founders, as you might imagine. But again, the founders will get Excalibur Umbra as well as keep their own Excalibur Prime, so I don't see the bitch fest anyway. What we're hoping is that Excalibur Umbra and Excalibur Prime are going to be roughly equivalent, some variations in stats, but they will be close enough that if you are a founder, you can still use your Prime and have fun. If you're a global build, you finally get that direct upgrade to Excalibur that you've always wanted, aka Poster Boy. One of the things discussed is that hopefully we, of the global build Excalibur Umbra, will get hopefully different animations. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you don't know this, Excalibur Prime's energy sword when drawn is the Skana Prime, whereas our sword on the basic Excalibur is the Skana. So it's been discussed that hopefully our energy sword that is drawn on Excalibur Umbra is either Nakana or some new variation of the Skana. As you can see from the base model, it's a Skana. One of the things that should be known is that Excalibur Umbra will have PBR just like any Prime. Now, what does this mean? You can change the metal tinting on the metal parts, you can adjust it, which is all fun. So roughly, Excalibur Umbra Prime are equivalent. I don't know if they're going to be altering Excalibur Umbra Prime to be identical to Excalibur Umbra on the China build, or just he won't be popping up, because that is their exclusive founders Prime variation. Kind of was the easy loophole so China could get their founders package. Now remember, China has an exclusivity of 30 days, so it's roughly been 11 months. So a lot of people are like, where the heck is Excalibur Umbra? Well, many of us are hoping it will pop up in U18. Roughly 66% of the participants in the thread, or those who came to the thread, voted that it should be popping up in War Within. Many have made conjecture that it's going to be either something to do with the two queens, or something like that. We don't know at this time, Tenno. It's a mystery, as is many things about Excalibur Umbra. So, let's continue on, shall we? Now, let's discuss the Umbra warframes. What are they? By DE, they're quoted as the darker side to the primes. Dark and twisted variations of warframes. This has us thinking that there's going to be some sort of dark, evil, sinister side to them, or something we haven't contemplated. But to this point, we take it as that the primes are the light and that the umbras are the darkness, yin and yang. Peace, balance in nature as it will. With the warframes, there will be dark and light variations. Hashtag edgelord somebody. Now let's get into some of the theories on Umbra. What are the big kind of theories out there? The first one that was, really heavily discussed, it was after U18 first was popped out, and this was via the Shadow Stalker. Shadow Stalker in the second dream actually uses Excalibur Umbra's model. There's comparison pictures in the Megathread if you want to verify this yourself. Many Tenno believe that we in some way are going to redeem the Stalker, become the Stalker, get the Stalker, or by slaying the Stalker finally and ending him, we get Excalibur Umbra. This is all conjecture at this point, Tenno, so none of this is canon at this point. The second quest is that the second big theory is called metamorphosis theory. The metamorphosis theory is that by sacrificing Excalibur or by doing some sort of quest or trials, kind of like in Naros, we will eventually get Excalibur Umbra as a reward in our little mailbox. You have obtained Excalibur Umbra. I wouldn't mind sacrificing my Excalibur base model to get the new shiny version. I won't lie. Now, the third concept has a lot of implications that kind of lead us to this may be how it works via the dark side of warframes. This is called the autonomous warframe theory. Warframes are controlled by operators via transference. How does this work? Operators got kind of like a wireless connection to your warframe via the neural connection built into it. There's a chassis, a system, and a helmet. We all think the helmet's some sort of neural connection or amplifier. Kind of like an RC car, you got the remote and the car drives around by itself. So, what would happen if the operator was killed while in transference? This is what we call autonomous. If you've watched Avatar, you understand this concept. Think of it as the operator is killed while transferring his or her full consciousness into Excalibur Umbra or whatever warframe. This then is called full transference. Let that sink in. Your operator is killed and you basically possess your warframe's body. Now, many of us actually think this is how the Stalker works via the second dream. The Hun House states you were one of these things, etc. Also in the Megathread if you want to check that out. One of the things we're actually hoping for is that Excalibur Umbra gets a variation on that glowing blade. Either a new Skana model, or Nakana, or Nakana Primes, something like that. Again, this is just conjecture, Tenno. Now, if you have questions about the scarf mechanic seen on Excalibur Umbra Prime, it's about 50-50 in the community. Hate, love it. Most of us are hoping it has a toggleable item that you can turn it on and off like an auxiliary, but per China Warframes Excalibur Umbra Prime, it is a fixed model, or a fixed part of their model, so they can't take it off ever. So take that as you will. We're hoping that, unlike Excalibur Prime, it's got different polarities. It can also, Excalibur Umbra should be able to use any Excalibur augment, cosmetic, helmet, skin, etc. Anything that works on Excalibur will work on Excalibur Umbra. So, take that as you will, Tenno. There's a lot more info on the Megathread. I'm just kind of giving you the download, the basics to get into this. As I said, there have been a lot of theories, but kind of the big three were those. Oh, Excalibur Umbra is hopefully to come in U19, many of which are hoping that we've at least kind of got some of the concepts right in our theories, and that it's coming in War Within. Many of us have also speculated that it may be a part of the War Within cinematic quest featuring the Twin Queens, that the Twin Queens are somehow behind it, but we don't know, Tenno. Just conjecture. Thanks for watching.